In 2000, Netflix was a small DVD by mail company in California. No theaters, no streaming, no global fame, just red envelopes arriving at people's doors. At the same time, one of the biggest retail empires in America was offered a chance to buy Netflix for around $50 million. They said no. And that single decision didn't just shape Netflix's future, it changed how the world watches everything. But Netflix didn't start as a success story. It started with a problem that most people would have ignored. The idea didn't come from Hollywood. It came from frustration. Reed Hastings had just paid a late fee for a rented movie. It wasn't the money, it was the feeling. The system felt outdated, unfair. So he and Mark Randolph started Netflix in 1997 in Scotts Valley, California. At first, Netflix wasn't even a subscription service. It was a simple website where people could order DVDs online and get them delivered by mail. No algorithm, no recommendation engine, just a basic idea. What if movies came to you instead of you going to them? But in those early days, Netflix was losing money fast. To understand Netflix's struggle, you have to understand the giant standing in front of it. Blockbuster. In the early 2000s, Blockbuster was everywhere. Thousands of stores, millions of customers, a business built on one idea. People walk in, rent a movie, and pay late fees if they forget to return it. Late fees were not a side income. They were a major profit engine. Netflix saw something Blockbuster didn't. Customers hated late fees. So Netflix offered a different model: subscription. Pay once a month, rent as much as you want, no late fees. Blockbuster didn't take it seriously. At one point, Netflix even offered to sell itself to Blockbuster. Blockbuster reportedly didn't see value in the idea. That decision would later become one of the most studied mistakes in business history. DVD by mail worked, but it had a limit. Bandwidth was improving, internet was getting faster, and Netflix saw the next step before most companies did: streaming. Around 2007, Netflix launched streaming video. At that time, it sounded unrealistic. People didn't have the internet speed we take for granted today. Watching movies online without buffering was still a challenge. But Netflix didn't wait for perfect conditions. They built ahead of the world. And slowly habits changed. DVDs started to fade. Streaming became normal. By 2013, Netflix was no longer just a platform. It had become a studio. And it made a decision that changed everything. It started producing original content. One of the first major bets was House of Cards. Instead of testing small, Netflix committed fully. Multiple seasons, big budget, before knowing how audiences would respond. It worked, and it proved something important. Netflix wasn't just distributing content anymore. It was creating it. Success brought competition. Disney launched its own platform. Amazon expanded aggressively. HBO built streaming strength. Everyone wanted a piece of the same audience. Netflix's advantage was simple but powerful: data. It didn't guess what people wanted. It studied what they watched, when they stopped, what they replayed, and what they abandoned. Then it built content based on behavior, not opinion. The biggest change Netflix brought wasn't technical, it was cultural. The idea of waiting a week for an episode started disappearing. Binge watching became normal. Entire industries shifted their release strategies because Netflix changed audience behavior. Today, Netflix is no longer just a company. It's a symbol of a transition from physical entertainment to digital experience. But its real story isn't about technology. It's about timing, seeing change before it becomes obvious, and acting on it before the rest of the world catches up. Because in business, the biggest wins don't come from doing something new. They come from seeing what others refuse to see.